Hello, everybody. Welcome to our third quarterfinals match for our May League. I am Oliver V. Joined below me is Mr. Jack Dax. Mr. Jack Dax, how are you doing today?
Doing wonderful. I'm loving life, having a good time, ready to see some good legacy action, especially with Dimir Ninjas against Blue Red Delver, the classic.
Yeah, so we have Eternally Surprised. Eternally Surprised being tied for the fourth seed going into this top 16 bracket up against Morrison 90, who is 12th seed. That means Eternally Surprised had the choice going into this whether or not he was going to be on the play. One little thing of note is that Eternally Surprised here you see is mulliganing. I'm actually the stream tech, the one who recorded this, and I can tell you that this is actually the mult of 5 at the moment. So Morrison is keeping his 7, but the Eternally Surprised, I do believe, is mulling to 5 here at this moment. Just getting started right away. But the Eternally Surprised is one of our really dedicated Ninjas pilots. We've been seeing Eternally Surprised pilot this list and really standard blue black, not with any splashes, for I mean honestly like 4 to 5 months now. And Morrison 90 not as active in our like weekly tournaments, however, has been really grinding away with Delver in all of our leagues. I also want to say for about the past 4 months or so.
Yeah, Eternally Surprised is a very, very good player. I've seen the Dimir Ninjas. I mean, that list has always been reiterated many times. I believe Clarostorix has been the main one working on it, especially with the primers and guides, and runs the Dimir Ninjas Discord, if I remember as well. Morrison been playing very well ever since I've seen them come on here. A lot of Delver.
Lot of Delver. So here's my question here. Let's put mulligans aside here. So we already know that Eternally Surprise is, I believe, or maybe I'm wrong. Was Eternally Surprise going down to 6 here? I could be misremembering this.
Mhm.
Either way, we know at least there's one mulligan here. Who do you think is favored in this game one? Blue Black Delver or Blue Red? Or I'm sorry, Blue Black Ninja or Blue Red Delver?
I honestly think Blue Red Delver has more of an explosive start, but Ninjas can get there. It's just like I'm going to say it's going to be 60-40 in favor of Blue Red Delver.
It very much feels that Ninjas has the long game advantage.
Yeah.
So one of the big perks of being on Blue Black Delver is that Wastelands and Dazes have a really hard time converting against you. Um, Basically, you have 2 Wasteland targets in your entire deck in the 2 dual lands, and as a result, it makes Dazes in the long really really bad. Um, However, the plus side for being Blue Red Delver is that if you can go real fast and put early pressure on, you will very likely take the game. But once again, that long game is definitely going to be on the Eternally Surprised side of the table.
I imagine this will eat a days if it's there. And there is no days. Good
Nope, not
surprise.
at all. Baleful Strix being a really fantastic card to have against Blue Red Delver, of course, especially when you see that turn 1 Delver coming down from Morrison.
Mm-hmm. No flip. Always a good thing if you're in the opposite chair.
Oh, 100%. There's nothing more infuriating than having your opponent's turn 1 Delver blind flip. Every single time, it's just like, ugh, it had to happen. It had to. We're seeing the beautiful Steve Argyle Ponder coming down.
Bald Man Ponder. Really love it.
Mm, gorgeous. Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Love to see it. We're also seeing the new expeditions from, I believe, Zendikar, the new Zendikar Rising, right?
I believe so, yeah. I think
Yeah.
those are that's the Zendikar Rising frame for sure.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love those. WotC has been very much on point with all the alternate arts and a lot of the different styles, especially in the recent memory with the old border treatments. A lot of older players have come back because they really like seeing old borders again. It is one of those things that people who weren't around for old borders, some of them don't like it, but then some of them who weren't around for old borders do like the old borders. So it's very much a flavorful win for a lot of the old players who are entrenched.
Well, we can see how much has figured that out, right? So we had the time spiral old borders the first time they used it, and then right away going into Modern Horizons 2, we already seeing more old border cards.
Oh yeah.
You do have to wonder, of course, whether or not it's gonna, I guess, lose its special feeling if it's abused too much. But whatever. For right now, I'm absolutely loving it. But also, I guess that's not why we're here today. We're
Mhm.
seeing an attack in. There is no your ninjutsu activation here, so just going ahead and playing out more bodies, and Ornithopter comes down. And we might be seeing that Changeling Outcast beatdown plan for a couple of turns.
Oh yeah. Very good card. I believe that you can't block it.
No, it cannot be blocked.
Yeah, very good card. Also notable because it's a changeling. It is every creature type, which is sometimes a downside depending on who you're playing against. But in this case, it is also a ninja in the jutsu.
And it's also a Thopter, which means that you can sacrifice it to the Foundry and make it a 4/4.
Oh yeah,
It turns out there's a lot of little bits of synergy in this deck.
there's a lot
Seeing
of fun
Morrison go
here.
ahead and fetch,
Mhm.
getting the third mana source, and we see a young Pyromancer coming down.
With the old border frame too. I think it's in foil too because I see the DCI star.
Morrison's deck is absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Beta Island as well too. Gotta love them.
So from this situation, it looks like Eternally Surprised is decent for the time being. However, if Eternally Surprised doesn't actually start getting the card advantage engine flowing, his long game is going to be worse than Morrison in this current situation, where Morrison has the young Pyromancer, and if Eternally Surprised isn't starting to actually get to chain with either the ninjas or the Foundry coming down and being able to start producing a lot of bodies for essentially free, you're just going to be in a really hard situation. We are seeing a flip we are having the what is it? An insect wizard coming down?
Yeah, insectoral
Or
aberration.
no, human insect. I am so sorry. How could I get those creature types wrong? We having to flip over to the 3/2 and Arid Mesa coming down. I gotta say, this is my favorite fetch land out of Morrison's list, just because it is so atypical for us to see Arid Mesas in these Delver lists. It's so common to just have it be the 4 Scalding Tarns and the and just other blue fetches, right? Whether they're Misties, whether they're polluted deltas. But this Arid Mesa, every time it comes down throughout the matches that he's in, it makes me smile every single time.
Yeah, I honestly really like that artwork. I ended up playing in foil, and I use it for a couple other decks that I don't play much right now, but a lot of fun to be had. 1/1 Elementals. Thank you to our wonderful Dream Tech.
Oh, who you talking about there? Who you talking about there? Uh,
Tough choice.
yeah, I gotta say, I really do love the elemental arts on Morrison's side. Eternally Surprised, as we may see later in the match, has lined up some gorgeous tokens as well. I quite remember the
Arcade
artist that
Post.
did that token series.
Arcade
It is Arcade
Post!
Post. There we go. The Delver game traded away with the Baleful Strix. An unfortunate thing for Morrison, but just something if you have to do. Like
Mhm.
if you aren't going to be able to find a removal spell soon, you want to just be getting rid of it so you can start attacking in. But the second young Pyromancer really poses a threat to Eternally Surprised. Where if Eternally does not start doing something real and very soon, all of a sudden every single cantrip is producing 2 power. And just continuing to go wide and wide and wide. And these younger pyromancers have just are running the threat of absolutely taking over the long game.
Mhm. I mean, at least we're getting some more draws here. We're going to see a nice Alexander Underground Sea. The classics from the artist.
Oh, you know me. I love me some damage cards for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's really a joke or if it's a truth, but there's a running joke for him for both Alexander and Murphers that there are more dual lands that are signed by them than there are not. So
Oh,
at
yeah.
this point, having an unsigned Underground Sea is more of a rarity than a signed Underground Sea. I do think that's a joke more than anything else. But
Now it's most likely accurate, I imagine, just because how many signed Underground Seas you come across.
I mean, they've been signing for a long, long time ever since the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing the 2 fetches coming in,
Yep.
Um, again, we really it really feels to be Ninja or Bust, or I guess Foundry. If we could see one of those, if we could see either the Yuriko, the Ingenious Infiltrator, or the Foundry come down, I would start to feel a little bit better on Eternally Surprised, or on Eternally Surprised side. But without that, it just feels like there's this ticking clock in the background, which is these young pyromancers.
No, I agree. I do agree. I mean, hopefully we get to see a Rico activation sometime soon with the Ninjutsu.
Fetching away with that Arid Mesa.
Hmm. Another Volk. Key to note, any spell that's being cast on Morrison's side is going to generate 2 elementals. Gonna be fun.
I
Make
mean, that's the
tokens for
scary part.
days.
No, for real. All of a sudden, every single you chaining cantrips is actively good now, right?
Yeah.
Like if you brainstorm or if you ponder and you see just another ponder into whatever other spell you would normally take,
Might as well
you
take
just take that
Ponder.
other ponder because that's putting 2 power on the battlefield.
Yeah, yeah. Good place to be.
Oh, for sure. Ooh, is this a whale coming down?
Oh, Sprite Dragon. Even better.
Ooh, seeing Dorat the perfect pet or something along those lines. I forget the Godzilla name.
And I think we're gonna use that as the bounce.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
is death.
There's 2 mana spent on it. I imagine this is on the Baleful Strix.
I would imagine so. That way we can swing in. We're gonna daze
Let's
this.
see, days. Okay.
We do at
And we
least
have,
get
of course, will
triggers.
back.
We do at least get triggers. Oh, I think we're gonna daze
Oh,
back. That's funny.
days for elementals.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, the triggers are still happening here.
No, exactly, right? So Eternally Surprised has 2 mana up. Is absolutely going to be able to pay for this days. But, might as well just cash it in while you can. Just make it so you have an army of elementals that you're able to swing wide with.
Yep. Make those tokens.
Of note, of
Make
course.
those tokens.
Oh god, this second one, this is sweet. This is as cool as it gets. You get the Dorat to get a little bit bigger, and then you also just made 4 power in elementals. Those 2 days has put 6 power on the board. Think about that for a
Jeez.
moment. That's nutty.
Jeez. You don't even have to swing too. You're just making power, doing work. I mean, you can swing if you want.
I feel like you might as well.
Yeah, swing with both. Yeah, swing with both. You've got blockers for days. It's fine. I wouldn't swing the young Pidgeys. Well, I don't know, but not
Might
what
as
you.
well. Might as well. You're threatening so much
That's
damage at
true.
this point. Like at this point, you have 7. You have 7 power in elementals alone.
I mean,
11 with the young pyromancers. Like if you just get in early damage right now, you're and also the great part about this attack is you can trade. Wait, can Changeling Outcast even block?
no.
Yes, Changeling Outcast
Can it?
cannot block. So that means you could either choose, if
Yeah.
you're on a Eternally Surprise side, to kill one of the young pyromancers, which is threatening the board, or kill the 4/4.
I'd kill the
I
Sprite
really do like.
Dragon. I'd kill the
Yeah,
Sprite Dragon. You do not want to see that come up.
I really do like the attack with the young pyromancers here for sure. It just feels like free damage, and you're putting Eternally Surprised in a really hard position of choosing what he's going to do with the Baleful Strix block.
Yeah, this is a really tough place to be in. I would definitely would block the Sprite Dragon at this point. I mean, not much else you can do.
I mean, it's basically a flying Tarmogoyf at this point.
Yeah,
That card is
not good.
absolutely nutty. It has turned out to be so fantastic for Legacy.
Yeah, if you're in Eternally Surprise's seat right now, you're really hoping to get a Eureka soon, or getting at least the Ingenious Infiltrator. You really need something.
I almost feels too late, honestly.
What did we block with Ornithopter? Did we block
Blocked
a
a young
token?
Pyromancer. Go ahead and take the 5 damage. Or I'm sorry, the 7 damage, right? Oh, no, it looks like there was a block on the
Token, I'd assume.
Ornithopter blocked the token as well, so
Yeah.
it was only 6 damage coming in, 2 from the young Pyromancer and 4 from the
Oh,
Sprite Dragon.
we got the Foundry.
Foundry's good. This is a possibility to actually stabilize. However, these elemental tokens cracking in on the following turn is real scary. I don't know if we're going to be able to catch up from this situation on Eternally Surprised side of the board.
Yeah, this is not a good place to be. I mean, you could make it the 4/4 artifact creature if you really want to, but I really don't want to see that coming anytime soon.
Big props to both these players, of course, for using dice to keep track of their number of cards in hand. It makes it really easy for us to know what's going on. We know that Eternally Surprised is at 2. Morrison, at the end of that last turn, had 3. Also, makes it really fantastic for the opposing player to be able to know. You don't have to constantly be asking to double check how many cards you have in hand, just because those dice are there. That's some stand-up online play that we love to see in this webcam format.
Oh, agreed. Seems like in this case, Eternally Surprise really needs to start getting things in. I mean, making a token here to block. We're gonna make the 4/4.
Yep.
I'm
I
assuming
like this a lot.
we're blocking the young Pyromancer, I imagine. And we're
Yeah,
blocking
and
a
then
token?
be down to 1 life.
Yeah. Because you're gonna be taking 9 here, right? Or 10, sorry. Because I think the Sprite Dragon is what?
The Sprite Dragon is a 4/4 right now. It's a 1/1 on its baseline and it has
Yeah, you're
3
taking
plus
10.
puzzle counters.
You're taking
However,
10.
now we see a single pump spell. This is a trigger to make it so it is now lethal in theory if 6 of these elementals hit.
And we're gonna force negation it. Still rough.
It really depends on what the blocks are here. This could be lethal if Eternally Surprised didn't block the Dorat with the Ornithopter. Oh, and made the correct decision. So just getting chunked in for 7, going down to 4.
Mm-hmm.
But this feels over at this point. There's no main board Plague Engineer, let's put it like that.
This is over. There's no other way I can think of it.
Part of the cards, baby. Find something. Find a Toxic Deluge accidentally in the list. Oh, wait, that actually won't even do it.
You could drown and
Find,
block.
yeah, but you're dead to these elementals then still, right?
Yeah.
Like, you kill the dragon, but then you're just dead to all these 1/1s that have gone wide. And again, that double Young Pyromancer was so nutty in terms of gaining advantage, right? Being able to convert 2 dazes into 4 1/1 bodies and 2 counters on this Bright Dragon just felt fantastic.
Well, now you can make another if you want, I guess. There's just so many bad situations to be in here.
1 card in hand.
Hmm. Yeah, this is you're dead. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can really do here. Fatal
Eternally surprised,
push.
playing it out, making
Push the
it that
sprite.
Morrison goes through all the emotions.
Yeah, push the sprite. You don't have enough blockers here.
The Foundry can make a 1/1, right?
Yeah,
You can still
Foundry
do
can make
that.
one, and then you block
Yeah,
with
because 2 to make the servo, but that's it. That's
yeah.
all she wrote.
You can't even block with Changeling. Remember this.
Oh, that's so right. We have 2 blockers. Oh, didn't matter either way.
Did
Well,
not matter.
fantastic game 1. Eternally surprised, mulling down to 6 or 5. I'm not so sure exactly which one it is. Whatever, though. And then really not being able to take or convert on the advantage of having the play going into that first game. But let's jump into sideboard, shall we?
Hmm.
Sweet. So on Eternally Surprised side, we see 2 back to basics, 1 Brazen Borrower, 1 Engineered Explosives, 1 Flusterstorm, 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 1 Narset, 3 Plague Engineers, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Thoughtseize, and 1 Torpor Orb. Love me that final card there. My goodness. What do you like here in this sideboard plan?
Double Plague Engineer. Name Elemental, please. I'd rather not die. Other than that, I mean, there's some interesting cards in here. If you want to pick in the Flusterstorm, that's usually good. Back to basics is usually typically pretty good here. We know there's not a lot of basics typically in a blue red Delver list, and of course we're looking at 2 islands, one mountain. So I mean, that really is a house in this case. We saw Eternally Surprise playing a lot of basics, so back to basics coming in is pretty good. Brazen Bar is always nice to bring in. I mean, it does both. Can't block though, so it just depends. Um, Ideally,
I
I think
think
you bring the Plague Engineers.
interestingly, Brazen Borrower actually does have some blocking potential in this matchup specifically. There are enough
Yes.
flyers on Morrison's side. I don't quite recall. There is the one true name that you have the issue with when you
Hmm.
look over at Morrison's list. So I absolutely do agree that we see these 3 Plague Engineers coming in. Um, at the same time, I do have to wonder whether or not we'll see the engineered explosives and the Flusterstorm as well. Those are cards that I kind of enjoy as well. Flusterstorm basically being able to win any counter war that you happen to have in this matchup. And then Brazen Borrower, again, like you said, let's bound to that Sprite Dragon and reset it. That seems fantastic. And then also be able to get a 3/1 to block it at a later point. I'm a little iffy on back to basics. This is a 2-color deck that can play around it. And of course, the big thing here is that these players do have open deck lists,
Hmm.
where Morrison does know the threat of the back to basics and can fetch for the 3 basics as necessary. Um, Again, though, you can just have those hands where you have 3 volcanic islands in hand and get absolutely blown out by it. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not that comes in. Let's jump over to Morrison's side real quick.
Yep.
So Morrison has 2 Blazing Volleys, 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 3 Pyroblast, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Abrade, 1 Blood Moon, 1 Hull Breacher, 1 Narset Parter Veils, 1 Sulfuric Vortex, and 1 Submerge. What do you like in here?
I'm taking out the Fork Bolt, putting in 2 Blazing Volleys. I don't know what else we're taking out, but 2 Blazing Volleys.
I really like a braid here also. A braid is the kind of one of the best removal spells against ninjas, just because you can hit the foundry and you can hit the ninjas. And
Hmm.
that's the best part about ninjas is that you put your opponent in this situation where they may take a hand that can beat the ninjas plan, but it loses to foundry. Or they take a hand that can beat foundry, but it just loses to the ninjas value. But a braid is one of the few cards that's actually able to hit all the relevant threats. Um, at the same time, I do think Pyroblast will be coming in. I
I
have to
do.
imagine. Hull Breacher and Narset have some potential play as well. I'm not sure whether or not those are going to be actually coming in. And we should have talked about this on the Eternally Surprise side as well. But Narset does actually have potential there as well. For Eternally Surprise, I can't imagine it being brought in while he is on Well, he's on the draw, but oh wait, he's on the play here, isn't this?
Yes.
So I suppose Eternally Surprised could be bringing in Narset at this moment. I don't think Morrison would be bringing it in. But that, along with Hull Breacher, is potential as well. But yeah, those Pyroblasts and those Abrades seem like gas, and then possibly Blazing Volley again. What? You're able to hit the Changeling Outcast, right?
Yes, and Baleful Strix.
Oh, and Strix. Okay, so there's some potential for that as well. But we're gonna have to see what these players do. Of course, I'm really surprised choosing to be on the play yet again.
Yeah, I imagine we're cutting our dazes on Morrison's side and probably the Fork Bolt.
Yeah, that seems quite good. Although those dazes were pretty good. You know what? I was thinking about this afterwards. Those dazes were just free raise the alarms with upside. Like, how great is that?
Oh yeah.
So let's see here.
We'll say
Of
Eternally
note,
Surprised in the play.
both these players are European players. The Eternally Surprised is in Germany, and I do forget where Morrison is. I want to say somewhere in Northern Europe. But really kind of showcasing the international base or the international community that we have playing in our Discord
Mm-hmm.
leagues, right? Where we do have a good number of our pools that are in APAC area, in Europe, and then also of course in NA. But really
And we have South
showcasing
America. We do have South America too.
that is very true. We do have some really dedicated Chilean players, do we
Yep.
not? But yeah, really fantastic to see both these players getting able to play against each other today.
Yeah, it's always good to see that. Hopefully, we're going to see those arcade post tokens.
I believe we will, if I remember things correctly.
I can only hope. Seems like we're resolving Mulligan's decisions here. And to see our perfect sevens, hopefully.
Snap keep. Easy.
You know, 7 cards is better than 6, from what I'm told. So, what would you say is the best order hand?
I either want to see turn one Ornithopter Foundry against Delver specifically, or just turn one evasive threat. I guess just turn one changeling into turn two ninjas. That one is a little bit weaker because it does just kind of fold to removal, or it has the potential of doing so. But yeah, I would love to just see turn one Ornithopter with immediately.
That'd be good.
No matter what, you're able to get value out of one of the two cards, right? So if they go to bolt something, you just immediately get to make a 4/4 and basically just beat it in that moment. And you also know that the Foundry is not going to die on this first turn at the very least, just because the only removal spells that Morrison has for it is the Abrades.
Mm-hmm.
Morrison going down to 6, however, which does make things quite a bit harder. Can we just talk about how great Expressive Iteration is, though, in this list as well?
Very
We
good
did not
card.
come up in the first game, but Expressive Iteration is a 3 of in this list, and that one card all of a sudden makes Blue Red Delver's ability to go long that much better. Like all of a sudden you have this. Look at the top 3, take the best 2 cards, and it's just amazing. I know that the Blue Red Delver mirrors or the Delver matchups have been kind of coming down to who has more expressive iterations, just because you're able to dominate the long game with them.
Yeah, it's a very, very good card. Recent printing from Strixhaven as well, so it's always good to see some relevant standard cards come in that aren't supremely busted, I would say.
Oh, definitely not a ban worthy card. Nowhere near that mark.
It isn't Dreadhorde. That's all I gotta say about it. It isn't Dreadhorde. It's fair magic.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Again, also because of open deck list, Eternally Surprised was able to play, quote unquote, play into Stifle there and not fetch on his own turn. Just because these open deck lists, again, knows there is no need to play around Stifle at any point in this
Mm-hmm.
match.
Do you think Eternally Surprised kept the dazes in?
Um,
Oh,
let's see. Eternally Surprised has 2 days
whoops!
in.
Whoops! Well, that answers that question. He accidentally revealed the
Yeah,
days.
that does.
He accidentally revealed the days to Morrison, and Morrison said, what are you trying to do? That's not a brainstorm.
Yeah. Um, if I do recall correctly, Eternally Surprised makes a joke after resolving this brainstorm along the lines of saying that was potentially one of the worst cards ever to accidentally drop from my hand. Just because now Morrison knows from this point forward to play around days as much as possible.
Now he knows he kept days in. Not a good start.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, talking to Eternally Surprised, for there are some number of forces that get taken down. If I do recall, doesn't
Hmm.
go deep into taking out all of them, but hedges a little bit there. If I recall correctly, well, what are the other cards that come out? I know that the creature package gets trimmed to a certain extent as well. I do believe I don't think this is the matchup that Retrofit Foundry gets cut.
Yeah.
Um, but
I,
potentially could be trimmed one of as well. I don't believe we do that,
I
but
imagine Infiltrator
again,
gets trimmed. It's a 4 of.
yeah, I think that typically it's your Rico often that is the one that gets hedged the most when
Mhm.
you are trimming down on the Ninja's plan, but it's potential to do that. Just honestly, the legendary text is half the reason. Um,
Mhm.
and then also you don't really care about the damage as much as the I'm sorry, the flip damage as much as the kind of better body and
Yeah,
not having to worry about having multiples of the same one in hand.
that's fair. No days. No days.
Does not choose to convert it at that moment.
Does not choose to openly mock the the days that was known.
This this is a pretty mediocre start for Eternally Surprised, to be fair, right?
Mhm.
We had a little bit of cantrip action going on, but we have to hope that Eternally Surprised has a ninja or potentially can draw into a foundry relatively soon. Of course, we did have this brainstorm after the fetch land.
And a heap on Ponder on top. So we did like what
Yeah.
we saw.
All right, show us the ninja eternally. Let's see it.
It's a ninja. Gotta be Eureka, right?
Or infiltrator.
Ah, yes, Infiltrator. Ice Raid Infiltrator is also the same cost. Ninjutsu.
Yeah, they are both two. Go ahead and get that draw in. Cast out the Ornithopter again. Oh wait, of course there can just be bolt in hand before this hits.
Yes.
Or Pyroblast as well as another very real removal spell in this situation.
Never
Again, one of
forget.
the reasons why Pyroblast is so good out of Morrison right now. I can hit your Force of Wills and I can hit your creatures that matter.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what we get.
And lets it hit.
Hmm.
Gets that free value. And here we go. This is exactly what Ninjas wants to be doing. Let me let me just hit in for little bits of damage and continue to amass card advantage.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna brainstorm on our end step. We do know the two cards. So the only card that is not known is the third card for Morrison. Because Brainstorm was kept on top. Actually, no,
Yep.
Morrison did fetch, so got rid of what was on
Oh
top.
yeah.
Whole new three. All for thee.
Let's see. What do we need to start doing to catch up? I would love to just see removal spell on this on this infiltrator right now, along with Sprite Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Young Pyromancer. That is quite good as well.
Good start. I'm sure it will get somewhere.
Now show us the bolt.
Yeah,
Oh wait, no, we know about days. What am I talking about?
we do know about
We're not going to
days.
play. We aren't going to play the bolt right here.
No, we're not generating that card value just yet. Not happening.
You do have to wonder if the days on a Trilling Surprise side would have been better spent on either that initial brainstorm or the second one that was done at the end of this last turn, right, going into Morrison's third turn. Just because it is known, and when you're given, when I can't help but feel that when you're given a target at this point, you do want to spend it. As Morrison continues to make land drops, he's just going to be able to sequence more and more around the days, and it's going to become less and less live.
No, agreed.
Going
Fatal
for
Push?
ooh, I like this.
Force the fetch, okay. I do wonder what we're going to play here then.
It could just be another cantrip. I don't believe we would be. We could be doing cantrip into a force effect.
Could be.
All the forces are alive, of course, because this is on eternally surprise
Ooh,
side.
we are bolting
There's the bolt.
something. We do get a trigger out of that at the very least.
Yep, and that those beautiful, beautiful bolt.
Uh, yep. Nice trigger though. Get a 1/1 for your troubles. Get the
And get
days
to
out
eat
of the
away at
hand.
this day.
Yep.
Swing in other ninja.
You just gotta take it. I mean, it's gonna suck if you don't. Hey, look, Eureka
Eureka.
showed up.
Oh, so here's the nutty part now. So now that we have two ninjas in play, if they are both hitting, it looks like the infiltrator was blocked there.
Okay.
So there are two triggers on the stack. There's one Eureka trigger and one infiltrator trigger. Looks like choosing to have the infiltrator remove
Oh,
first, and then the
rip.
Eureka hitting is 0, so no extra damage is
Hey, at
dealt.
least you get a double Thopter, right?
Yeah, that's true. All of a sudden, Retrofit Foundry gets even better.
Yeah, make some 4/4s pretty quickly.
I
Have we
believe we
played the
still have a
land for
land
turn?
drop.
Yeah, have we played land for turn?
No, because we had three already,
Yes, yes, yes. You're correct.
and then bounced back to the days, but did
Alright.
not elected not to play it. Okay, now this is scary. We've had one of our removal spells go. We still have the Pyroblasts and 3 more Lightning Bolts.
Mm-hmm.
However, you really need to do something because at this point, if both those ninjas hit you, it's really surprised drawing 4 cards.
Sprite Dragon, yep. And we're gonna see another Sprite Dragon, okay.
Ooh,
Not much to do with them, but they are Sprite
do leave
Dragons.
those back, and they're
Yeah.
staying back to block.
I mean, they do start out as 1/1s. They've got Flying and Haste. Just gotta cast non-creature spells. Tough
So at this
situation to be
point,
in.
if I'm eternally surprised, I just attack in here. I don't put any spells on the stack before there is blocks before damage is dealt.
I agree.
Basically, just to make it so those sprite dragons can't be grown by force of will effects.
I guess you double block the Ornithopters. Pray to God they don't get so they don't get ninjutsu'd.
But then you're just letting eternally surprised draw 4 cards, and at that point, I feel like we're just locked out.
I mean, the Sprite Dragons will die if you block both of them.
Yeah,
I mean, it just depends on what you care about more.
all 4 hitting. Had the 2 Eureka triggers happen second, and that's 3 damage. Oh, that looks real good. So we have removal spell in the drown the lock.
Mm-hmm. Not where you want to be, really. I'm assuming we're gonna
Yes,
tap it down. That way we can make a 4/4.
likely happen at the at
Oh, oof, oof.
another ornithopter. That's a blocker.
That's a nice blocker.
This situation has gotten incredibly hard for Morrison.
This is not where you want to be.
Back to 7 cards in hand from that draw 4. That's amazing. And this is kind of what we were talking about when we were saying that in normal situations, Blue Black Delver's long game really can take over in this matchup. When you're one for one each other so much, and then all of a sudden you get to chip in, draw 1, chip in, draw 2, chip in, draw 4. It's really hard to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I think we're looking at Forager too, because we're looking at our grave.
Ooh, the good old Space Whale.
Well, I mean, Wasteland will take off the Underground Sea, so that does get rid of one of the options that Only Surprise has. Where he gets to untap it on his end step. Baseball's coming.
And just also make it so with this Drown the Lock in hand is the only card that can be cast on the next turn cycle as well if it isn't
Mm-hmm.
cast now.
Baseball's coming.
Well, there's still a lot of cards in that graveyard.
There is
Are there 6?
exactly, I think there's exactly 4, or maybe a little bit more than that. Might be 4 or 5. Not enough. Now we're gonna braid
And
something.
upgrade.
Imagine we're gonna braid the Retrofitter Boundary. Uh, Sprite Dragon
Choosing
should
to
get,
Drown the Lock on
yeah, Sprite Dragon should be getting pluses here. Good place to be. I wouldn't do that one. Interesting choice. I would not have done that to the untapped one, but I guess it doesn't matter in this case.
Well, did it to the untapped one because Morrison was passing the turn. Morrison elected not to attack.
That's true.
So at that point, they're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
The board is stalling a little bit.
Ooh,
Oh,
Brazen
and he kept
Borrower.
on the whale.
Yeah.
On the whale. That's so
Bye-bye
great.
whale.
Loses all those cards.
Yeah, this is not a good place to be.
Just attack in.
Bring out. Except with the Ornithopters, I imagine, unless you... No, not
Oh,
even
yeah,
with
no reason.
Ornithopter. No reason. Force Morrison to block
So
unfavorably.
if you're Morrison's situation, you can double block the Eureka and kill it without losing anything. You can double block the Ingenious Infiltrator and lose one of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could double block the Construct. You could also put your blocks around in different ways, but you don't actually kill anything.
Agreed. You're
But there's
dead.
so
You're
much
dead if you don't
damage.
block.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much damage represented right now. Like, if you kill the Construct, you would potentially just lose. I imagine it's 2 on your Rico just because that is a known 6 damage. Or no, because then it can also just be 2 damage off the top.
Yes. I think you kill Ryuko so that way you don't die.
But 1 damage. Oh, we're putting Morrison down to 1 life here. Morrison had taken 6 from the combat damage, and then we had that blind flip with the Eureka to see what was going to be burst or how much damage was going to be dealt with that trigger, and just getting down to 1. But this game feels locked up at this point. Morrison on the following turn is facing down 2 4/4s and the Infiltrator,
Yeah.
discarding Ponder to hand size.
Not a very good spot to be in.
1 card in hand,
Yep.
and it's the Whale.
Whatever we drew here might be helpful.
Needs to be body or removal spell, right? Or no, because we have a third body right now.
We do have a third body. We got whale. And then we got something in hand, which we don't know. A young pyromancer. It is a body.
Oh, okay, that's real.
It is a body.
So go ahead and turn this into another 4/4.
I imagine you block with the whale on one of the 4/4s. Izzy dies in a hole under one of them, and then double block the ingenious.
You could also just have the whale eat the ingenious infiltrator, right? Because it's a 2/3.
Yeah, you
And the
could.
whale's a 3/3. So that seems like the ideal block.
I mean, you
The
can't
issue
lose
is
any
these.
life. That's the problem.
Yeah. And thankfully, single removal spell does not win the game here because you can still block away. But Brazen Barber bouncing the whale.
Another petty theft.
Oh, that feels so good.
Yeah. You
Now you
still
can
can block.
crunch in. You crunch in. Morrison has to block all of them.
Yep.
None of them trade away. Eternally Surprised is left with all of his stuff still on board.
Correct.
And this is just it.
This is GG. Nope. Not gonna get there. We're gonna go to game 3 from what I'm seeing.
Yep, we are scooping it up.
And it's such a tough matchup to get back from right there. Not much you can do about it.
Well, the Foundry just gets so overwhelming if you don't put on that early pressure, right? And this is kind of classically what between these two games, we got to see the two real ways that we discussed at the very beginning that the matchup can go. Blue Red Delver goes really, really fast. And is able to get in enough damage that by the time Ninja starts to stabilize, they're too far down on life total, and it just takes 1 or 2 more hits or bolts off the top to kill. Or Ninja's just maintains control the entire time, gets to slowly start whittling in and just do this 1-for-1 exchange while drawing 1 and then 2 and then 4 cards off the Ninjas. And then the Foundry just generating so much card advantage in and of itself by just making threat after threat after threat that is unanswerable.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. It looks like we're going to see some more sideboarding here. We're taking out 2 cards, and I think Eternally is taking out 3 cards.
Looks like it. Of course, this could always be the classic bluff, right? We always love seeing that.
Oh, yeah.
The classic, I'm going to put in 15 cards on my sideboard and then take out the exact same 15 just so you think I'm doing something different.
Yeah, sometimes that is not a sideboard bluff. Sometimes if you're playing against Tensai and on Cephalid Breakfast, they side out the combo and decide to side in the beatdown plan instead.
I mean, that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Just depends on who you're playing against.
I'm a big fan of playing that combo hate transformational sideboard every time that I play Sultai Food Chain for sure.
Ah,
The
food
uh,
chain.
the classic. I'm playing against Tensai. All right, then yeah, I'll do that exact same thing.
Always a fun deck. Always
Oh,
fun.
100%.
And for those just watching us or are new to Legacy, we're the MTGPL. We're a Paper Legacy Discord. We play along on webcam. This is our league event. We also have a weekly Saturday challenge. And then for those in Europe and Asia Pacific region, we have a bi weekly Sunday challenge that we do every other Sunday, which we do via webcam. The winners get a token. They're really cool. Right now it's Dark Ritual token. We'll be getting our crop rotation artwork shortly. These tokens are technically official proxies for our events. They're a lot of fun bling just for us to have. They have our logo on the back. And if you want to join this and get on some Legacy action, join our Discord down below and follow us on Twitter and check out our Twitch channel. They're all linked in the description below.
Let's see. I imagine we do have Morrison on the play here, right? That's the only potential way that
Yeah,
this
yeah.
could be.
I imagine we put in Dazes again if we took any
Yeah.
out.
I think there's the potential of Morrison putting in the Narset now at this point, now
Yeah.
that he is on the play, and I imagine Eternally Surprised, if he had it in, is taking it out at the moment.
I don't think he's playing Submerge. Come on.
No, I don't. Hey, you know what? A 5 mana bounce spell, it's technically playable still. It's technically doable. Um,
What if Morrison just memes and puts in Sulfuric Vortex?
it's technically got text. If you really want to meme, what you do here is you bring in Surgical Extraction and Grafdigger's Cage. That's what you do if you really want to meme.
Uh,
Although Submerge would be another very good meme card, let's be honest.
yeah, you have to hard cast it.
So to tell a funny story from this match, started recording a lot earlier than when it actually started in this, and we realized as everyone was shuffling up, which only surprised, did a pile count and realized there's 59 cards in the deck. We've proceeded to pile shuffle about 2 more times, confirm that there's 59 cards in the deck, and then stop recording so Eternally Surprised could go run around the house and figure out what the missing card
Mhm.
was. Now, I do have to say, going into this game 3, with Morrison being on the play, it does seem like Morrison is favored.
Mhm.
From this alone, as long as both players are keeping 7, I do have to imagine that the advantage is to Morrison.
I agree.
Classic dice cut. I'm not gonna lie, I started playing in paper again rather recently with small groups of friends, and I have taken our Discord's way of cutting with me into IRL Magic. Uh, so let's see. We of course know Morrison's going to keep this hand, as we previously saw. Eternally Surprised is going to put this away. And this is not what you want to be seeing when you're Eternally Surprised up against Blue Red Delver on the play. Oh wait, did we skip back to one of the previous matches?
No,
Oh,
this is game 3.
okay. So Eternally Surprised is on 7.
Mhm.
Y'all, I don't know what's happening with mulligans at this point. My apologies. I should have written it down when I recorded it, but you live and you learn. Regardless, we know for a fact Morrison kept 7. I'm not sure what happened with the video when we saw Eternally Surprised reshuffling there, but Eternally Surprised has 7 in hand right now. So we're just going to say there were no mulligans at all.
Yeah, it seems like they
But
resolved Mulligans though, and we're going to see a Changeling Outcast, and we're also going to see a Delver.
coming up blind flip. Let's see it. Let's see that 3-2 beater. Oh no, it is
Never.
not there.
Oh no, it was. No, it was.
Okay,
That's a
well
good
that
start.
as we talked about, that's kind of the perfect removal spell on Morrison's side. Able to hit every single one of the threats, both hitting the foundry, and then also going ahead and hitting all the ninjas that happen to come in.
Mhm.
Oh,
Swing for
and the
3.
beats swing for 3. Oh, are we missing an attack with the Sprite Dragon? Oh, we're going
Mm,
back here for a moment.
sorry, that's 4. Yeah.
Attacking for 4. That does have haste. Even though on the last turn they never actually attacked. Those creatures do have haste.
Oh yeah. It wasn't relevant last time because you didn't really want to swing into it.
Oh, no, not at all. They were on blocking duty. All right, well, this is scary. So this is, I suppose, a free time on Eternally Ninjas or on Eternally Surprise side to either go in on a ninja plan or potentially to throw some removal spells out there. I would think that we want to hit this Bright Dragon, even though it isn't representing as much damage as this insect at the moment. Just because Morrison has so many cards in hand. This throw 5. This Bright Dragon will very easily be able to get up to 4 or to like 4 or 5 power. We'll have to see what happens. Is this gonna be a ninja's turn or a removal turn?
I imagine it's going to be a ninja's turn. We want to start getting our board state better. But it could be a fatal push turn. Gonna
Here's
push the
that
Delver.
push.
Not the Delver, okay.
In the Sprite Dragon, yep. Just respecting the amount of damage that card can give in the subsequent turns. Once again, can be very
Very
easily
fair.
attacking for 3 next turn, same as the Delver, or we can be going all the way up to dealing 4 or 5.
Very fair. Gonna see the old border ponder. A lot of times power master stuff is coming back into popularity.
Ooh, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Too expensive in foil, but I really wish I could have them. Swinging in for that nice 1 damage. And get a little poke. Just to make sure they're alive. Now, if we're in Morrison's position, we're hoping probably for a young Pizzy, I imagine. And then maybe like a bolt.
Either that or just another threat. We haven't seen the True Name at all. True Name would be really fantastic here. It's a little too early for the whale. Um,
Yeah, far too early.
But just another threat at this point. We have the advantage here. Let's just continue to apply pressure to the board and make it so Eternally Surprise is just in this control role of needing to just spend removal spell after removal spell. If you can prevent Eternally Surprise from being able to actually ninjutsu in and start amassing card advantage that way, it's going to be fine as Eternally Surprise continues to 1-for-1 you. The only real issue you have on Morrison's side on the 1-for-1 plan of Eternally Surprise is if he's drawing those extra cards per turn.
Mm-hmm. Seems like we just passed back after fetching. Yep.
Yeah, let's kill that body.
Assuming that was on the untip, on the untap step. Wow.
Playing around force negation there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now this gets hard for Eternally.
Oh yeah. This is a difficult position to be in. We got no ninjas on the board. No nothing. Not even a Thopter yet.
Going down to 11. So ideally, we'd find one of the other 3 fatal pushes right now.
Mm-hmm.
Drown the Lock is also potentially live, and be able to put one of the enablers. Again, the Baleful Strixes, the Ornithopters, or the Changing Outcasts. Baleful Strix, I guess, is kind of the best of both worlds, where if you're able to put that down as the enabler, you maybe don't need the removal spell. However, we have to imagine that Morrison has some more interaction in hand. There's still 3 cards there that he has not been playing out.
Agreed. So we're gonna see Baleful Strix. Good card. Draws you a
Here we
card.
go.
Has Death Touch. Oh,
Oh, amazing.
goodbye.
That is perfect. We were just talking about how great that Baleful Strix would be if it had resolved, but no, sir. Finally see a Pyroblast coming in.
Engine Outcast. Get somewhere.
It's not a blocker though.
Definitely not.
We're gonna take another 3 damage to the face, go down to 8.
Ugh. Not a good position to be in, especially on the Charlie Surprise side. We really need our engines to go somewhere. Taking yet another 3 from the human insect. Imagine we're gonna see.
We know threat.
Bolt.
Oh, bolt on the outcast. Make it so you can just never get your ninjas in play. I like this a lot.
Oh,
They
we're gonna
double
see the
down.
Space Whale.
Whale, yeah, baby.
Space Whale is coming.
We need cantrip or removal spell off the top for Eternally Surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it's not going to be amazing. You just need to deal with this whale, and then still find a way later on to deal with this insect before it gets all the way there.
Oh yeah.
Onto we're digging real hard.
Not a spot to be in.
We've only seen one bolt so far because the other removal spell we saw was in a braid. So there's still you still have to worry about potentially 3 bolts.
Mm-hmm. That
So
ever so
taking another
scary
hit
bolt.
makes it in double bolt territory.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the bolt is being brought back by the whale if it attacks.
We are brazen
But
borrowing something.
I
I'm
imagine
assuming
the
Space
whale.
Whale. We're gonna daze to force the fetch.
Oh, yeah. There's the Vista there. I
Mm-hmm.
got really excited for a moment. I thought that that was just the absolute blowout.
Nope. We're dazing to force the fetch.
Show me a second days.
That'd be funny. What's better than 1 daze is 2 dazes. Bye, whale. You'll be missed. Come back
Goes
another
down
day,
to
G.
7. Crack down to 4.
Hmm?
Any fetch land then on Eternally Surprised side makes it so you die to bolt. There is no life gain in the deck whatsoever.
Oh, yes.
This feels this
Three,
feels difficult to come back from,
2 cards in
to put it
hand.
mildly.
We know 1 Space Whale. Actually, 3 cards, I'm pretty sure. Because we know 1 Space Whale, and there was already a card in hand before.
Yeah.
Okay. We're casting the new card.
Expressive Iteration. Interesting to play the land first. A lot of the times when you play Iteration, you go ahead and you play it before you make your land drop, just so if you hit a land in those 3, you can exile it and play it immediately. However, you were potentially playing around days here. However, it doesn't matter. You found a lightning bolt. You can go ahead and bolt face, get Eternally Surprised down to 1.
Yeah, usually a good spot to be in. Being on 1 is a precarious situation, as some would call it. Really forces the Brazen Bar to actually come out here. That Flooded Strand does nothing.
That is turned off.
Yeah, it allows you to commit suicide in your graceful way. You
Go
want
out
to
in
do
a
that.
gentleman manner. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've seen that before.
the Gentleman Death. But other than that, it does nothing. Spread Dragon.
Spread Dragon, that's lethal.
That's
That's
dead.
it.
GG. Gentlemen in agreement there. Oh, bolt! I'm
Oh,
not letting you
it didn't
gentlemen
even matter.
agreement! I am not letting you gentlemen
matter.
agreement! No
Oh, that's
gentlemen!
hilarious.
I'm gonna
That's so
bolt you in
great.
response.
What a fantastic match.
Oh yeah.
So Morrison is going to go on, winning the quarterfinals here. Morrison will be taking on Frosty, the number 1 seed of this entire top 16 in the semifinals. Massive props to Eternally Surprised for making it this far.
Yep.
Eternally Surprised took down his pool against all of his other pool players, made it to the top 16 where he took down Moz H on Wish a Sneak, and then making it all the way here. I mean, honestly, it can feel a little bad in the quarterfinals, but even getting this far is a huge testament
Yep.
to Eternally Surprised play abilities.
Definitely agreed. And for those of you who want to join our leagues, you can check us out below in the Discord link. And at the end of every month is usually when we send out the league invite, and the league starts every first Tuesday of the month. The next invite will be July 2nd, I believe, is when the first Tuesday of July is. Whatever the first Tuesday of July is usually our start. For the next month, June has already started. We're well on to the league action, and hopefully we'll be back soon with the June top 8 quarters, semis, and finals.
Awesome.
Thanks again, everyone, and hopefully you watch us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, and hang out with us and be part of our local meta. As we always say, let us be your local meta. And that's it from myself, Mr. Jack Dax, and my lovely co-commentator Oliver. Have a wonderful day, y'all.
Take care.